These 10 nights, it culminates on this day. It is in this morning that the battle began, and it's this morning, a few hours ago, that if we look back 1400 years ago, 1350 or so years ago, it's when Imam Hussein is laying in the scorching sun on the ground, dead. His companions as well, some of his family members as well. So inshallah we'll do a brief maqtal until Maghrib time, and hopefully we'll recount the story of the death of Imam Hussein as we have been recounting the death of those closest to Imam Hussein over the past 10 nights. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين. Send your salams to Imam Hussein and his companions. وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. So we've reached the point where Hur ibn Yazid al-Riyahi, the first among the members of the army of Imam Hussein, he left to defend Imam Hussein and he died. We find that his close friends, Habib ibn Madahir for example, he left and he died. His close family members, his nephews, Aun and Muhammad, the sons of his sister Zainab, they died. Qasim, the son of his brother, of Imam Hassan, he died. We find that there was no one else to fight, and the commander of the faithful, the commander of the army, the son of the commander of the faithful, Abbas alayhi salam, even at that point he was not allowed to fight. Imam Hussein commissioned him to instead go and get some water for the thirsty children, for the thirsty women. And in the pursuit of grabbing water, those wretched tyrants, those weak animals, they killed Abbas alayhi salam, the flesh, the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen, their caliph. So you find Abbas alayhi salam also has died. At this point, Imam Hussein alayhi salam is all lonely on the battlefield. There's no one else to defend him. There's no one else to honor and defend the honor of his family. So he cries out in the middle of in Karbala, he says, "Hal min nasirin yansurani?" Is there any of you, anyone amongst you to come and help us? Is there any of you that will come to the aid of the family of Rasulullah? Is there any of you to come and protect the honor and dignity of the women and children of Rasulullah? And it was replied with silence, just the wind gushing, silence in the air, for they've been tired of crying. All that could be heard is the waves of the river Euphrates. And so in the quest of quenching the thirst of his 6-month-old baby, we saw last night that even he died, and they killed him. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam is all alone, and he knows that if he doesn't go in the battlefield, the opposing army, they will come, and they don't care for the dignity and honor of the women of Rasulullah. So he's saying his final goodbyes. He's saying goodbye to his sister Zainab. He's saying goodbye to his close companions. He's saying goodbye to the remaining people who are alive, the women. He's saying goodbye to his son, Imam Zain al-Abidin, who when he cried out, "Is there anyone to help us?" Imam Zain al-Abidin, despite being so sick that he couldn't move, tears were shedding down his eyes, they rolled down his cheek, and he grabbed his walking stick. He asked someone, "Bring me my walking stick and my sword," and he tried to get up. And Imam Hussein saw this and he said, "Tell Zain al-Abidin, my son, to go back inside, for they will cut off our progeny." So Imam Hussein alayhi salam was all alone. Indeed, it is a sad day. Indeed, it's a day that should be remembered until the end of time. Indeed, there has been many calamities throughout history, but none reaches the severity and the greatness of this calamity. There has been no massacre to this extent. There has been no tale this great. There has been no murder of people so great, so virtuous, by a band of people who claim to be the followers of their own family members, of their father, of their grandfather. So indeed, it is a day that we should remember till the end of time. And may God bless every single one of you who have been partaking in the majalis of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. So we find that Imam Hussein is getting ready. He's wearing his helmet. He takes his sword. At this point, Sakina, his daughter, she comes out. Sakina, the one who's thirsty and crying, the one that when she found out that her uncle Abbas is dead, she said to her father, "Father, tell them my uncle, don't worry about the water. Don't get me water, I'm okay. I will bear this pain of thirst." So Sakina saw her father getting ready, and she's seen that every single person who has gone to the battlefield has not returned. So Imam Hussein, he gets on his horse. At that point, Sakina is following. Imam Hussein turns around and says, "Sakina, we said our goodbyes, why have you come?" Imam Hussein looks at her and said, What's wrong?" Sakina said, "I'll tell you if you come down your horse." Imam Hussein said, "Okay." He got off the horse. Sakina said, "I'll tell you what's wrong if you sit down." Sakina sits down. Imam Hussein says, "Tell me what's wrong now." Sakina said, "I remember when Muslim ibn Aqil, when he died, and you informed his daughter of the death of her father. You put your hand on top of Muslim ibn Aqil's head, the daughter of Muslim ibn Aqil's head, and said that Addamallahu ujurakum, and you conveyed your condolences. Sakina said to her father, Imam Hussein, that put your hand similarly on my head, because I know you will not return. So Imam Hussein has tears rolling down his cheeks and says goodbye one last time to Sakina. Imam Hussein gets back on the horse and heads towards the camp, the opposing camp. He goes forward and he claims and he says loudly and proudly, Ana Hussein ibn Ali. I am Hussein, son of Ali. I decided never to bow nor bend, protecting my father's family, remaining on the Prophet's creed. Abdullah ibn Ammar said, never have I seen someone surrounded by a huge number of enemies and whose son is slaughtered, and so are his family and companions, and who still maintained his composure, remained relentless, and stayed courageous more than Al-Hussein. Men kept fleeing in front of him whenever he charged at them, and none kept his ground. Umar ibn Sa'd, the commander of the opposing army, the enemies, shouted to everyone saying, this is the son of the quarrelsome one, the one with the stomach. This is the son of the killer of the Arabs, referring to Imam Ali. Attack him from all directions. Because every time Imam Hussein would engage in a duel, the opposing army, they thought that they could defeat him. One by one, Imam Hussein would kill them. So Umar ibn Sa'd said, this is the son of Haydar, this is the son of the lion, Ali ibn Abi Talib. Attack him from every direction. So at that point we find that 200 or 2,000, some narrations say, spears charged at him. Imam Hussein was hit. He said, O followers of Abu Sufyan, if you have no religion at all and you fear the returning to our Maker, then at least you should remain free in your life, and you should go back to your lineage if you are Arabs as you claim. Shimr addressed him saying, O son of Fatima, what are you on about? What are you talking about? Imam Hussein said, it is me, it is I who you are fighting. You're not fighting my women, you're not fighting our children. It is I who should be held accountable, not them. Keep your people to yourself and away from them, and stop them from harming my women as long as I am alive. Because it was the custom of the Arabs not to attack the women and children. Shimr said, I agree. Imam Hussein said, face me, not my women. My time has come. Destiny is done. Shimr said, we shall grant you that. He became the target of the fighters, and the fighting intensified. His thirst intensified too. From the directions of the Euphrates, he attacked Amr ibn Hajjaj, who was surrounded by 4,000 men, clearing them from the water and forcing his horse into the river. Imam Hussein reached the river Euphrates. He reached the river Euphrates with his horse Zuljana, and when his horse was about to drink, Al-Hussein alayhi salam said to it, you are thirsty, Zuljana, and so am I, but you drink first. Imam Hussein allowed Zuljana, the horse, to drink. And for a second he contemplated drinking himself, when he heard an enemy saying, Oh Hussein, you are about to drink water when your family are thirsty and they're dying of thirst and they're dehydrated. Imam Hussein threw the water back to the river, and again he engaged in the battlefield. Imam Hussein went back to the camp, and again he bade his family farewell for the second time, ordering them to be patient. He said to them, get ready for the affliction and be advised that Allah Almighty shall protect you and safeguard you, and He shall save you from the evil of the enemies and make the ultimate end of your affair good. He shall torment your enemy with various types of torture, and He shall compensate you for this trial with many sorts of bliss and honor. So do not complain, nor should you say anything that may demean your status. Indeed, anyone may say that that was the most critical situation the master of martyrs, Sayyid al-Shuhada, had to face that day. The ladies who were raised in the lap of prophethood saw then the pillar of their security, their master Imam Hussein, the one that they would feel protected, the symbol of their hope and honor. They realized that Imam Hussein is going and not coming back. They realized that they might not be protected anymore. They realized that the griefs will only increase. Imam Hussein continues to the battlefield. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Sayyidah Zainab, she saw what is happening. She built an elevation so she could see what is happening. She wanted to watch on what is happening to her brother, her beloved brother, the one that the Prophet, she remembered, used to kiss his neck and tell her that this is where they will sever your head. Imam Hussein had said his farewell, and he told them that we shall meet again on the day of judgment and at the pool of Kawthar. So everyone had said their goodbyes already, and then we find that the arrows started again. They would not engage in duels anymore. They realized that the battle has intensified. They realized that Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he's not going to go down one-on-one. So the arrows again were in the air, in its tens and its hundreds, until the arrows reached, some of it reached the camp, and some pierced the clothes of some of the women, causing them to be stunned and frightened. Imam Hussein alayhi salam kept saying, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Imam Hussein proceeded towards the battlefield. They started attacking him. They started attacking him so much that at this point there's so many arrows on his body, he falls off his horse. He falls off his horse, and then those evil, wretched people, one by one, they try and hit him. But Imam Hussein continues, he's got some energy, and he continues to fight them off. And Imam Hussein at this point, imagine, brothers and sisters, he hasn't had a sip of water for days. Imagine, do you recall Ramadan when you can't drink? Imagine not having water for days. Imagine being in the scorching sun, in the desert. Imagine having fought during that time. Imagine how thirsty he was. Imam Hussein was that thirsty, yet he had the courage, the faith from God to continue his battle. At that point, the cowards, one by one, would hit him. Some would pelt him with a rock, and one of the rocks hit him in the side of the head, and the blood started gushing out. Umar ibn Sa'd told everyone to start attacking him from everywhere. This person, Imam Hussein, will not go down easily. They started attacking him until someone struck him with his sword. Imam Hussein looks forward, looks back towards the tents, and he sees that the people have started attacking the tents as well. Imam Hussein, all he can do At this point, he tries to get up and tries to fight off the enemies a bit more. But there is little energy left. There's little water in his system. There's little energy. Imam Hussein sends his salams to his grandfather Rasulullah. Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah. Assalamu alayka ya Habeeb Allah. Assalamu alayka ya Nabi Allah. Imam Hussein alayhi salam knows that soon he will be quenched of his thirst by the hands of his mother Fatima Zahra. He will be quenched of his thirst by the hands of his grandfather Rasulullah. He remembers when his son Ali Akbar, as he's about to die, Ali Akbar said, grieve not father, for what you said is true. I can see my grandfather Rasulullah taking out his hand with in it some water. Imam Hussein alayhi salam is continually being attacked. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, at this time, he's got no more energy. He gets hit from everywhere, from left. He gets hit with arrows. He gets pelted with rocks, with swords. Sayyidah Zainab looks on. Sayyidah Zainab is crying. Sayyidah Zainab sees a man approaching Imam Hussein. His head was lifted, but now it has hit the ground. Imam Hussein has breathed his last. Before he breathes his last, he says, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He sends his salam to his grandfather. He says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. He says some words, and as he takes his last breath, Sayyidah Zainab sees a man approaching, and he takes out a dagger. Some say it's a sword, and he pulls the hair of Imam Hussein, and he cuts off the neck of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Ala la'natullah lil qawm al-zalimeen. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. As-salamu ala al-Husayn. Everyone. Wa ala Ali ibn al-Husayn. Wa ala awlad al-Husayn. Wa ala ashab al-Husayn. A man, the noblest of men. He was so loved